Yeah, we're back. Con Choco. Where were we up to? New case. Fourth case. Say, she wouldn't happen. I already see her. She just stands by the window every day.
The letter is on the table, Holmes. You should take a look.
Which table? This table?
A wax seal with the monogram. I can tell from Lestrade's handwriting that he was in a hurry.
Can we open it?
The Brackenstall family coat of arms.
Dear Mr. Holmes, I should be very glad of your immediate assistance in what promises to be a most remarkable case. It is something quite in your line. Except for releasing the lady, I will see that everything is kept exactly as I have found it, but I beg you not to lose an instant, as it is difficult to leave Sir Eustace there. Yours faithfully, Inspector Lestrade.
So, what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so. Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the EB monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote his letter at 3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally compose the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate that she had been held somewhere during the crime. Much time has been wasted. Let us find a cab and go to Abbey Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
Off we go. Let's go to the crime scene.
Ah, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, here you are. I'm very glad that you have come, but perhaps I should not have troubled you.
And why is...
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randall?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall is dead, then?
Yes. His head was knocked in with his own poker.
A violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She's in the morning room with her maid.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right, I'm going to examine it.
Very good, Watson. Sir Warthen Brackenstall. Lord Brigham Brackenstall. Lord Ramsay Brackenstall.
Ramsay. Okay, that's a lot of
Ladies,
people.
allow me to introduce myself.
Whoa.
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes, I am the wife of Sir Eustace Brackenstall. We were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that, even if I were to attempt to deny it.
Obvious fresh bruises. Kangaroo and emu. So many Australians. Old bruises. Pale cheeks.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
Ah. Ksa.
You mentioned...
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
The bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband caused those bruises?
Oh, do you? Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time. Out of control. Again. Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
Can you describe to me the events of yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary? I have already told Inspector Lestrade all that happened.
Yes, madam, it is.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11, absorbed in a book. Before I went upstairs, I entered the dining room to fetch a candle and... oh God.
Please, go on.
As I approached the French window, I found myself face to face with an elderly, broad-shouldered man who had just stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw 2 others. One of them struck me a savage blow with his fist and felled me unconscious to the ground.
And then?
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to a dining room chair. It was at that instant my unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders?
Yes, I think he had heard them, for he was holding his stick. But they were 3, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker. I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
Did these 3 villains steal anything?
Yes, I found that they had taken the silver from the sideboard, but you can see for yourself in the dining room.
Your ladyship? Teresa, I would like to hear your testimony.
Teresa.
Certainly, sir.
Let's see here. Wrinkles. Coffee stain.
As I sat by my bedroom window, I saw 3 men in the moonlight down by the lodge gate. But I thought nothing of it at the time. Oh, if I'd known.
And then?
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I ran, to find her tied to the chair and him on the floor with his head smashed. That's all I know.
This photograph of Lady Brackenstall and her maid Teresa was taken at a port. So the lady and her maid came from Australia a year and a half ago.
TY for the pick. Rendell Gang. Sydenham. The Elder Jack Randall. William and Melvin.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall.
You should examine the body of Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
It appears that the bell rope was cut by someone taller than me. A fur trader's cabin. So, Watson, what have you learned from examining Sir Eustace's body?
Well, I can confirm that the death was instant. Sir Eustace was facing his attacker when he received the blow to his head. There are no other apparent injuries.
That must be the murder weapon. The head was cracked with the force of the blow. Barefoot, he had therefore been in bed and did not have time to fully dress. Quite a large stick, a formidable weapon. It is covered in blood. Sir Eustace might have struck his head upon it while falling from the blow. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. There is beeswing at the bottom, as if the wine had not been decanted before being poured. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. It is rather strange that only one of these glasses has dregs of beeswing inside it, while the other two are clear. A decanter standing next to the open bottle. Chateau Calon Ségur, French wine.
This is the chair.
Sailor's knots. That's interesting. This rope was handled by the murderers. We need a scent hound. I will take it with me. This is the chair that lay... The hunting scene. These wine bottles are expensive. A bottle of wine... This candlestick is valuable. It is interesting that it was not... An empty silverware bottle. The criminals did not thoroughly ransack the house. They only took a...
They made it look like it was
This door
ransacked.
leads to the upstairs bedroom. A deer hunt. The hunting scene. Antique hunting weapons.
Hum. any traces of them being outside. This looks pretty clean.
This door.
The death was in
A trapper's hut.
I've searched outside for footprints without any luck.
Okay, let's piece together what we got. So we got the knot. I know. Two glasses. Bent poker. Fireplace. Okay. Three people.
There are 3 glasses.
Oh, I forgot. When I came to myself the first time, each of them had a glass in his hand. They might have been a father and his 2 sons. They talked together in whispers.
Your ladyship.
Please leave my Mary alone.
So they
I've
say.
searched outside for footprints.
So they say. Inspect the room. There's still more.
These scratches are most definitely... This is Sir Eustace's safe. Them. Lady Brackenstall,
No, it is my husband's safe.
we have to... Your ladyship. Let us try... This safe can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
Not a very safe lock. There's a mental state, great concern, decompensation, last time we met, leg cramp.
Antique coins, possibly of value. It is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe behind a painting. It should not really pose a challenge for a...
Well, let's go get Toby. Toby's finally being used.
Come on, Toby. We need the best nose in the British Empire on this case. I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts.
Someone should take Toby for a walk.
Let us see how the rope was cut. The fibers at the end of the rope are smoothly. Let us try to find out what tool. The fibers from this cut are... The fibers from this cut... If I cut the rope with a knife, it matches the...
So it was a knife.
I agree with you, Toby. My archive. I can always consult with it, if needed.
It's a sailor's background. Come on, Toby. Let's go.
Search.
Sniff, sniff, sniff. Knew it.
The intruders entered the shed for some reason. The scent leads to the... intruder's trail is lost. The criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before fleeing by climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route.
Well, let's check the shed out first, shall we?
This hook. Small gardening tools. Bags of seed. Some empty bags were recent. This old suitcase sounds...
And here.
There's something glittering.
That's the silverware.
Silverware. This... The Brackenstall coat of art.
So they didn't take the silverware.
The intruder's trail is lost.
Robbery is confirmed as the motive. It's starting to not add up here. Sailor's not.
We found your silverware,
Is that true?
your ladyship. Sir Eustace's doctor speaks of his violent...
Yes, Sir Eustace was It is true that he once threw a decanter at me, and all because I dared to stand up to him in defence of my mistress. Sly devil. God forgive me that I should speak of him so now that he's dead. But a devil he was, if ever one walked the earth. We met him only 18 months ago. She'd only just arrived in London. Yes, it was her first voyage. Wonder with his title and his money and his false London ways. If she made a mistake, she has paid for it, if ever a woman did. She doesn't have any friends here.
We found your mistress...
Oh, that's good news. You really are as clever as they say.
Indeed.
Arr! Violent behavior. No acquaintance. I'd say she is.
Inspect...
You are a wit.
In the garden...
Excuse me?
Unique.
Rather absurd. What is the point of stealing silverware?
Exactly.
Perhaps it was used as a temporary hiding place. Or what do you know about Sir Eustace, Inspector?
A charming man when sober, but an absolute demon when he was drunk. In such why, once he splashed fuel on Lady Brackenstall's dog and set it alight. Another day threw a decanter of wine at Miss Wright's head. To the point that we were forced to intervene several times.
Watson? Watson? God damn it. Watson? So far, let's go to the archives. I feel like it was the wife. The wife was like, I'm sick of his shit. So she called over an acquaintance.
Here it is.
Brought to England, Miss Maria. Returned from a 6-month voyage for India, New Zealand, and Australia. There we have it.
The shipping company, the Adelaide, Southampton, London.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you.
But I have another solution.
Oops.
Watson, I need...
He's right across the street.
Wiggins.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
I'll give you candy money again.
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I need the crew list of the Rock of Gibraltar in 1893, and their current...
I'm straight on it, Miss...
Do you really think they'll find it?
My secret police is better than the Yard in many ways.
3 hours. Ooh.
Here it is, Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it back. It's too risky.
Put it on the table. I'll take care of it. Good work, young Wiggins. This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London Line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the 7th.
Departed.
I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case.
Oh shit. It's the same. Okay.
This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago.
Charlie, Thomas, Hubert, Ernest. No. Ernest. No. Frank, George, Peter, Duncan, Jack.
Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days. This list shows the
Oh, do I have to go through all of them? Okay.
I do not think that this sailor has...
Charles.
Mr.
Jack.
Jack.
Jack. Herbert.
This officer is still at sea.
Henry.
This officer is still at... This officer was on a ship.
Oh, a month ago.
Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date...
Ernest. Ernest and Thomas.
This officer is still... This officer is... Captain Jack Crocker.
Bay walla bow.
This Croc.
It would be interesting to meet him. Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this Captain Crocker?
Here? No problem.
Mr. Holmes, I was informed that you were looking for me.
Yes, it is important that we talk.
Honest.
You are acquainted with Lady Mary Brackenstone.
Yes, I think I do remember her from when I was first officer, but I still don't see...
It seems your relationship went beyond that of mere passenger and first officer.
How dare you?
Indeed, how reckless a feeling is love, particularly if one is prepared to commit a murder.
Explain your...
You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay, found it much fabricated. Once you learned that I wanted to see you, you came straight away. You needed to know what I had found. That evening, you...
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. Besides, all of this is just...
You would be right.
What then?
Lady Brackenstall was tied to a chair on the night of the murder. And it was you.
You call that evidence?
Sailor's knot.
Yes, as she was tied with a sailor's knot. Your handiwork.
So, it's a sailor who's done it. That proves nothing, Mr. Holmes. I'm not the only sailor in London right now. Your theory is flawed anyway. On the night of the murder, I was aboard the Sharp. I was supervising the repair of a...
At night.
It was an emergency. There was a leak. You can...
I'm sure that...
Perfect. In that case, we have nothing more to talk about. Good evening, gentlemen.
Holmes, what should we do now? Would you like to check it out?
He has an alibi.
No,
He's
there is no doubt
guilty.
that these men will testify in his favor. So, we must work with what we have.
Now I understand why...
I need to know a bit more. That can't be it. This was murdered by one person. Captain is the killer. This cut of the knife. It's clear on that. I'd say it's the sailor. Because there is absolutely no trace of those three dudes being there. I'd say it's him. I would say it's him. Yeah. Yes. Two people. Arrest him.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstone.
What?
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife. The knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have managed to protect her.
Till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear, and it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit. Mary had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this.
Put the damn thing down! Holy shit.
You should have let me die. How can
What
I
the
live
fudge?
if Mary suffers?
I am sorry, Captain Crocker, but there has been quite enough death in this case. Inspector, I give you Sir Eustace's killer. He tried his best to perform his own justice.
Well, I'm not surprised. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Here is a piece of evidence that can be used in court.
Perfect. A case that went smoothly.
Yeah, I'd say this thing was... I'd say this thing was pretty smooth. Only took me 50 minutes.
Holmes, for heaven's sake, whatever's going on?
Oh, hello, Watson. You're early. Did you kill all of your patients?
What? Holmes, where have all these wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed to take a sample of honey. But it worked, Watson. We will have honey all year round.
Ridiculous and dangerous.
They're domestic bees, Apis mellifera, such industrious workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants. Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollen.
Since when did I become so transparent? Let us go.
Jesus. Is it just a theft though? Or is there a killer? It's never just this easy.
Well, Holmes, here we are at the Royal Botanic Gardens. There's no doubt that this place is beautiful. But are you really intent on investigating the...
Yes, of course.
Hey, ay.
Don't touch anything else, is that clear? Just go and get a bucket of fertilizer. And without turning it over this time. Good day to you, gentlemen. How may I help you? If you are here for a visit, please do come back.
I am afraid that it cannot wait. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague. We are investigating the theft of plants that took place here 5 days ago.
So you're the one in charge?
A small favor for a friend. Now, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
I am Martin Hamish. I am the Deputy Director of Kew Gardens. And that fellow yonder is Albert. He works here.
I am delighted to meet you. What can you tell us about the plants?
They were rare and exceptional plants. We presented them at our last exhibition. We haven't removed the stand yet. It is still in the large... We only learned of their disappearance the evening after the exhibition, and nobody saw anything.
No doors were forced?
No, but I would imagine that for a thief it would be fairly easy to gain entry, for there are no guards here.
Well, if you don't mind, we will take a look. Now, you say that it is in the large glass...
Yes, the one just behind me. Albert, show these gentlemen where the exhibition was...
How many people work here?
Only myself. But occasionally 2 students, Albert, whom you have met, and Miss White.
Here it is. This is the place where the stolen plants were exhibited.
Thank you. Is there something...
Yes, there is. All right, the plants were valuable and rare. It seems to me that the tragedy that took place here only 2 days ago has been entirely forgotten.
What tragedy?
The director of Kew Gardens, Mr. Montague Dunn, he died here just...
We're very sorry. We were not aware.
He was my father.
Oh dear. Our condolences. We should not be troubling you. Please do excuse us for the intrusion.
You say that he died here?
Holmes?
Yes. Just here, near the door to the Colonial Collection. He suffered a heart attack. Just like that. So suddenly. It was terrible. Excuse me, gentlemen, but I cannot remain here. If you need me, I'll be in the reserve. That's the room next to the front of the large greenhouse.
Of course.
What should we do next, Holmes?
The plants were here.
Do not touch.
Here is a list of the stolen plants. According to Albert, this is where his father, Montague Dunn, was found dead. Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. Soil. It should have... The soil on the side of this flower... This pot was broken fairly recently. A flower pot recently fell down from these shelves and was misplaced. The esconsson was breached near the hand. The door was smashed at shoulder height. This door handle is new. It was The door was forced from the inside of the Colonial Collection room. The handle was changed afterwards.
I think we need to inspect the Colonial Collection room.
This sign is broken. Blood. Someone fell violently against this sign, and they were injured in the clash. Most likely a head wound. Very strange. Half of the Colonial Collection is absent. The smell is strong. It is a detergent. These windows were perfectly cleaned. A fragment of marble, most... This broken fragment was the result of a heavy blow. Part of this greenhouse was...
It was a murder.
This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system. The traces are thinner in some. These boot marks are fresh. It appears as though someone was dragging their The footprints reveal that someone staggered. All the clues around here are quite suspicious. This reconstruction reveals a disturbing fact. Montague Dunn damaged the door of the Colonial Collection Room.
He was in a panic, or the door was locked. Was it an accident, or a murder then, I wonder?
Ventilation. What do we got? Let's do an autopsy. Woo! That broken piece.
I asked Inspector Lestrade to take Montague Dunn's body to...
It's ready for all.
I'd assume it's
First of
this
all,
one
let us
here.
carry out an external... There are no suspicious marks upon... No redness. Nothing suspicious. There is an injury to the skull, most probably. The vessels and the pupil of... The air from the lungs carries a... Now, let us... The heart's blood vessel. The heart tissue shows no... The lungs are congested and edema. The tissue on the inferior lobe of the right lung is damaged, most probably caused... The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was... The liver tissue is brown. There are no The stomach tissues show no... There is a small amount of content. It appears that he breakfasted lightly. My suspicions have been substantiated. Montague Dunn, the director of Kew Gardens, died from poisoning.
You mean...
Yes, it is murder.
We should inform Lestrade.
Yes, but do remember, Watson, that I discovered the murder. The challenge...
The challenge?
We need to locate that deadly plant. Such a perfect murder.
Murder of any kind appeals to you. Is that all we need?
No. We also have the people working at Kew Gardens. Martin...
And also Miss White, of whom we spoke with Mr. Hamish.
No. A few innocuous questions at Kew will suffice, as well as a discreet delve into their personal affairs. Yes, Watson. It is time now to open the doors.
Even those in the staff building. I suppose that is necessary.
We should also be concerned with the victim himself. After all, we don't know very much about Montague Dunn.
You're enjoying this.
Okay, let's get back over there. A plant poisoning. Definitely from the ventilation. Somebody was leaking it through the vents. That much is certain. Trapped and poisoned.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish.
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection?
But, oh, most likely maintenance work.
You're not sure, then?
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
Albert told us about the tragedy.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite...
As Deputy Director, how was your...
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression. Great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn...
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say? He was a member of the London Smart Set. He had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Water lily... Nursery. Seed. Ventilation system. Dry tropic. Palm house. Director's office. Colonial collection. A map of...
Is there more?
Reserve.
There we go. I'd say we go check out the ventilations. Ventilation's looking hella sus. That's the nursery. Where the fudge is ventilation?
Locked.
ですよね。
Locked.
ですよね。 that is the nursery. Straight through the right door to the back. That door over there. Is it this one? No, that's a seed house. Shkoosh.
There is a smell of burning.
Is this it? No. Right.
A ventilation system. A water tank.
I know it's definitely through vents.
A broom hand. A protective. Someone set it alight, but it did not. The plants were set alight fairly recently. The symbol is not from Kew Garden. A door handle? Why would any... The door handle to the Colonial Collection, and that of... The remains of a picture.
Someone lighting evidence on fire. Now, is there anything else I can get from here?
A ventilation system.
That dude said he'll be in the reserve here.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
Farmhouse.
Excuse me, Watson.
Who is Miss...
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with... In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse.
Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only. For I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then. That is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
We noticed that a part of the colonial...
Ah. At the moment, I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the deputy director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the deputy director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? Well, that is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens. And
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens. And I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Do you hold the key?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon. What is your opinion of Albert?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him botany is not his life's work. And his father well knew it.
He was?
Oh, yes. He forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to...
Are you able to elaborate?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a present, but then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him.
That must have been...
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor... That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who was such a nice lady.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you...
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory.
Why not?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And he... Why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attempts. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game?
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Locked. Newspapers.
Announce the successful production of Neil Bali. Blah 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 blah. Proud cultivator will hold the press. I mean, it's giving him credit. It's not like he's holding the press for himself. Pointed out quite. It's Margaret White, right?
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynolds.
Oh, another one of these. 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dearest friend, allow me to express my disappointment upon reading your last letter. I am paying you to defend me, not to accuse me. Blah 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 blah. Find syndicate. Must respectfully ask you to once again notarize the permissions of this god. Mr. Darwin ask you for the last time for the return of our dear sisters. You do not have any right to imprison them. They do not belong to you. Your so-called permissions are wholly false. The divine syndicate, what you have done is quite abhorrent. Trusted you. Regretted.
I suggest that we don't tell Miss Margaret White about this.
So she got fired. He made it sound like she's indebted to
Lock. There was a bottle here. It left behind.
Gold dust. Good heavens.
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be of.
But why would anyone perform such experiments?
Several drops of the substance were spilled. Several drops. The bottle is no longer here. Lock.
Holmes.
It does not matter.
horse.
Open. Miss White's locker. Apparently, Miss White is a capable A draft of the letter that Miss...
I am writing this letter out to your house. The now very more expensive. I fear therefore I may not be able to manage it long term. I know that we have our disagreements, but failed. Still, turns you to lack of money.
These jewels must be a vanity purse.
You surprised? How could you think to ask us for money after all these years that have passed since you left without a thought of us? You never shared with us any detail of your success at the university, but you choose to do so now. We suppose you must be ashamed of us, for we are not from the same high class as your new friends. Yes, we are the modest people, but you should learn to put your family first, as we at home have always done, and none of us ever compromise their reputation, as it appears you have already with your employer. So, she's sleeping with her boss. I know please let me. She could not permit you to remain in such a dilemma. I was born of a wealthy. So, she's emotionally manipulating him.
Martin Hamish's log. A review on rare and exotic plants.
I understood your reservation to my suggestion. You want
Father and I, Kew Garden. Martin Hamish studied chemistry. Albert's locker. Specialist articles on shipyard. Albert died. A rejection letter.
at Royal Navy School. Your father has a first nature. Yikes.
Young Albert, standing with a woman. A botany. This student's book belongs to Albert. Chemicals, a sufficient quantity for some sin.
A phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
Yes, this is quite a I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything.
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish.
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants do respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895. Report number 245.
Study report.
Okay, so
This is a table for experiments.
Only this one is kept in good.
It appears as though the protective equipment is... Such masks are generally worn. Gloves, waterproof aprons.
Do they grow dangerous?
That's it for now.
Locked. Nursery. These young plants must be
Either delicate or dangerous.
An award presented. A master's degree diploma. A thesis. A glasses case. This area serves... We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window. This poster is for an exhibition that Martin Hamish was directing, but it had nothing. This certificate belongs to...
Oh.
I am curious if the marble that we found... Here it is. The marble fragment that we found in the Colonial Collection Room. It is a... The seeds of plants... Locked.
Well, we found it, so...
Open. Seed house.
So far, most sus is Hamish.
Materials for college study. A book about ships. Nothing at all to do with plants. These leather gloves are new and of good quality. This place... From here, we are unable to see the interior of the colonial...
Good day to you, miss. You have...
Why, thank you, sir, and good day to...
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White.
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Q.
Expensive perfume. Shit, what am I missing?
Yes, A theft.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you.
Yes. The director was.
Would you happen to know why
No, I have never been there.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked.
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
How well did you...
He was a master, a great leader.
He had an...
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who...
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious.
Shall we delve into the archives? Dependent on this wealth. Ah. Hemlock seeds. Botany.
Here it is. Marks and symbols. Here it is. The divine... Here it is. And here is the Divine Syndicate's address.
Okay. It's clear it was poisoned badly.
This place is beautiful, Holmes.
Let us find someone. Good day to you.
From the trace of elements and moreover from the quality. Therefore, please.
Disturbed?
There. Completed is the symbiosis. Well,
The Green Grand Mystic.
this is
We are two gentlemen who are extremely interested in the...
listening to.
We've...
Coincidence, I am thinking. They would scavenge our refuse. It would not surprise.
It was merely... We should like to take a look around.
It is a school, you may say, that only true devotees. Those whose hearts are ready to spermatify and to be permitted.
Green Grand...
What is the name of our Lord, our God King?
Shit.
Our God King's name is Triwan, Green Grand...
Oh la, good, good, I like you. Here is the holy key.
Thank...
I pray you to taste our fertilizer substance from the burdens of life. Raw sap. It is.
Thank you,
we
no
will
thank you.
leave you to your meditation. A fragment of a... Fragments? The Kew Gardens... That should be the raw sap.
Cocaine.
This is rather...
My word, Holmes. Their sap is like...
This must be Triwan, the Divine Syndicate's... This door is...
Ugh. Oh my god. Ah. Pain peckle.
These instruments are used. This cabinet is full of. That would be enough to perform the most difficult. A vast amount.
Benefactors.
The list of plant friends and benefactors, lawyers, well-known manufacturers, political leaders. Caterpillars. They are raised as food for certain plants. Let's take them. A tropical plant. A tropical plant. A tropical. A tropical. These three plants are identical to the ones shown.
Bro, how am I gonna log them out? It's gonna be so sus. Why are you taking 3 pots of plants out?
A trop.
Man, that'd be hella sus.
Osmo.
Do you have
None. Not worthy there.
Nevertheless, we have seen Kew Garden's flower pots in.
What? Our sacred place you permitted yourself to search?
No, really now. There was a theft of plants at Kew Gardens a matter of days ago. And we believe the pots we found here may be.
No. Those plants were our...
How so?
Their director.
Done.
Yes, that's what I said. He borrowed from us 3 of our sisters for the exhibition at his green flying... But he never gave them back to us. Excuses and imbecility. So we went...
I see. So, if you stole those rare plants from the... Ah, I get it. Bravo, Holmes.
No, we did not steal. We saved. Well, as a matter of fact, we were unable to find our 3.
I beg your pardon. And yet, you took all of the exotic...
They had disappeared. It was the least we could do. They stole our sisters, and so we stole theirs.
Well, we will leave you to...
Okay, so still including the deadly sins. There just ain't enough evidence to show that they were there. Because these drug-addicted bozos would not have been able to intelligently
Come on, Toby.
use the ventilation system to perform the murder. Their brains were already cooked.
Let us take Toby. Search, Toby. Search.
So this way. Open as a door. And went this way. God damn, this person is wiggling all over the place.
Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see which... This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle. A tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden.
Yes. Let us perform some experiments. I feel like Albert, he doesn't have enough plant knowledge to do it. It's either
Let us determine
why
just what we have. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into it. This is the... a colorless, water-based liquid. Quite a strong floral.
Holmes? What are you doing?
It has a bitter taste.
What if it's poison?
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there is a doctor nearby.
So what do you...
It is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize the liquid and see what happens. Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water, with a floral smell and a bitter taste.
Of course. Here you are.
Wagner's reagent. There was a label on the bottle that you passed to me.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any sediment, and then I shall tell you. I need to take a pipette. I need to take... Red sediment. This liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and that is why there is a quantity of gold dust to prevent contamination. This mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out unusual
Can't believe he straight up drank it. Dude.
According to the deadly plants information, in order to perform our experiment, we will... My analysis... According to the deadly plants in...
Didn't I pick up caterpillars?
According to the deadly plants information, in order to...
What? I picked it up. I already got caterpillars though. What the heck?
Are you aware of...
The Divine what?
No.
What a ridiculous name.
There is a bust of Montague...
A bust? Oh, that old thing. Further proof of that out...
But why?
Oh, I don't know. It has always been there.
It is strange, because I recovered a fragment of the bust.
Really? Oh, well, so I am mistaken. It ought to have been removed during the cleanup. I have no idea. Surely, Mr. Dunn, do you have any more questions like this? Because...
Evident. Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with...
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your...
But you...
Do tell us.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in.
Did he get on well?
No, I couldn't say that. And it was all my father's work. For Dunn, always...
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled... But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master. Fame meant nothing to my father. So it was easy for Mr. Dunn to...
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Where am I gonna get caterpillars, yo?
Tell me.
No.
I perceive that...
Passionate? No, not really.
Are you quite sure? You do not...
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
And yet I know that the royal...
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, he did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Got any caterpillars? You know, any caterpillars just laying around? No. Where am I going to find caterpillars?
Not at all.
Thank you, miss.
Where will I get caterpillars? Dry tropics. I mean, I haven't been in there before, so...
Dry tropic. These flower pots are beautiful. They are intended to be used. The symbol is not. Dry. Water lily.
Which leads us back here.
These plants come from all the. According to this, they have light.
Where am I going to find those caterpillars? I already picked up the caterpillars, but on the off chance, fingers crossed it didn't get bugged. Please.
That is not. That. Here it is. According.
I honestly feel like it bugged. How will I get caterpillars?
What should we do next, Holmes?
Caterpillars. How? Why? I don't believe it's the cult. Oh.
This substance is an alkaloid. Perfect, Watson.
Okay. It's not. It's not the syndicate.
I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask. A carnivorous, a prickly plant. This is a strange and...
Bruh.
The plant seems to have had no reaction. I find the behavior of predators. This plant seems... It appears to open after being soaked. This plant becomes inactive after being drenched. This plant becomes inactive after being drenched. It closed again. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps... No react... Ma! It appears to...
What other thing is there? A pin. Pin.
This plant... It appears to open. This plant... It closed again. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we...
Agitated.
It appears. Toxic gas with spores. The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the right moment.
Let us take our caterpillars to the Colonial Collection Room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kew Gardens one more time.
Partial theft. Yeah, I don't believe Albert did it, although he would say he hates his father's guts quite a lot. I wouldn't say that he did it. He doesn't have the brains to do it.
Can you tell me?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paper. Suddenly I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Your father's death does seem highly suspicious.
Suspicious? Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of something, or Lear Pontus. Ah, these Latin names.
Did you see your...
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was prep. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10:10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily room, and I found my father lying dead on the floor.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Sus. Hamish. Sus. This one's his window, he could see clearly directly in. I know it's either Hamish or Wyatt.
Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was...
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was...
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would...
And that was the last...
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert and Mr. Hamish from the large glass house. I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you...
I was recording an experiment for my... I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred.
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory.
Thank you, miss.
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spore. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open. We already know the outcome. Well, it is time to perform. The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right.
Are? Right, yeah.
The power is on. The engine has started. The ventilation system is working. What?
Now we need to see if we can activate the fans from Mr. Hamish's and our...
Effort.
This ventilation fan is working. Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson.
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the colonial. Let's go to Scotland Yard.
Wait, I still need to check White's flippin' in the laboratory.
This is one of the... From here, we are unable to...
Is this the map? Laboratory. Free.
Here it is. Cylinder records.
These plants, classified as shrubs or grasses, have adapted to their arid environment due to a system of underground roots.
This recording seems very long. It is unnecessary to listen to all of it. Miss White was in the laboratory, as she told us.
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants to respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 8.
Study report.
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish. Locked. Locked. Inspector, I believe that Martin...
Aha!
Very good. Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
Holmes, my God!
Yes, we found him like that.
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish.
Inspector, could you arrange... The mark around the...
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a character...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the key element of this.
Plot thickens.
What should we do?
Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr.
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't...
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
I have another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
The map at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Let us analyze the facts and statements so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
Martin and Hamish and Montague went to meet Albert at the Seed House at 9:30. 20 minutes to 10 when Hamish and Montague went out to the backyard. After 10 minutes, Dunn recommenced his inspection. And Hamish returned to the Seed House. Martin and Hamish had a conversation with Miss White at 10. Miss White was in the laboratory until 10:40. Hamish ran to Albert as soon as he observed Montague was unwell, which was at about 10:30. Albert was in the seed the entire morning. Ten past 10. Ten past 10. There. Hamish returns after talking with Miss White.
Let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked. Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is done. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means...
Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
Can I view that thing again? didn't need to. Both had time. A lack of experience. Plus professional ambition. I'd say it's her. She seems extremely manipulative, and you could tell that the son was truly grieving. Fingers crossed.
But Holmes, how can you be certain that we'll find Miss...
It is obvious what...
I am using...
Now that the rope has tightened around Martin Hamish, Miss White must... After the suicide of her accomplice, there is one final trace remaining. The deadly plants of the divine sin.
Very good.
Just one moment. Now listen to me, Watson. I shall see her alone. You will conceal yourself.
Whatever...
Nothing spectacular. The impulses of women have always been a...
All right.
Mr. Holmes, good date?
You do not seem surprised.
Well,
Not for too long. So please tell me, as it is still unclear, who planned the murder?
You were wrong, Mr.
It was Martin Hamish, then. You managed to convince him to take on a more prominent role.
You could not be further from the truth.
You think that you can fool me?
You don't care what I think.
It is difficult to care about someone who is capable of pushing a man to his suicide. It is over, Miss White. The police will be here any minute.
Over, perhaps. One moment you were here, and the next, you were on the other side.
The other side? No! Stop! I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, It's too late.
Ah!
Are you?
I'm afraid not.
Reply. Bro, what the shit? What the heck, woman? Why is everyone trying to like end themselves? Jesus. God damn it. So I am right?
It is. You. It. I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Her left hand, her left hand. Off you go.
Well done, Watson. She was not faking.
Miss White, you have no right to take your own life.
Dr. Watson? Did you just save me? Or worse?
And the answer is... she is!
Where are you going, Holmes? Have you been invited somewhere?
We have been invited, Watson.
We have? Where to?
To the Baker Street Irregulars' annual dinner. They sent us an invitation. It is on the table.
A dinner? How could those street urchins afford anything like that? I can't understand your interest in them, Holmes. They're dirty. They wouldn't hesitate to steal your wallet. They...
Watson, you should be excited. It is a secret dinner. Its location changes every year. Read the menu. Sounds mouth-watering.
All right. We, the secret police of Baker Street, invite you, Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson to our annual dinner. Menu, entree, frozen rat head salad. Is this a joke?
Not at all. Pray continue.
Main course, sow's udder in Danny Nutcracker's way. Ah, sounds disgusting, Holmes. Hedgehog goulash. Street turnips in homemade juice. And it goes on.
Ah, I can hear them on the stairs now.
Well, we can't go there. We can't eat that.
Watson, you'll hurt the feelings of those poor children. We have to go.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
It is fine, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Holmes!
Wiggins, Dr. Watson is getting ready. He will be delighted to join us. You don't look well, my young man. Is there something wrong? Don't tell me the dinner is cancelled.
Mr. Holmes is my brother Leighton. He's in a prison cell. They say he's killed 2 men. You have to help us, Mr. Holmes, 'cause I know he didn't do it.
Where is he now?
From what I've heard, they took him to the yard, and they gave him a good beating already. You know what they're like. They'll hang him. They won't look any further.
Holmes, we have to help him.
Well, and forget about the dinner. Wiggins, I'll take the case.
You're fantastic, Mr. Holmes. I'll be waiting for you at the crime scene. You'll be there, right? It's on Half Moon Street in Whitechapel.
Very well.
Alright, let's look at the scene first, shall we? My god. Question is, do I have time to solve the case? It will be lunch soon. Guess I'll join back later tonight to continue this case. Oh, that garden case took me like 2 hours. Holy shit. Never was fond of botany. Right, I'll end it here for now. Thank you for watching, everybody. Follow me on Twitter for notifications and announcements, and subscribe on YouTube. Twitter でフォローと YouTube で登録お願いします。見てくれてありがとう。じゃあ、また今度ね。バイバイ。